In terms of death by electrocution, it only takes half of an ampere for 2 seconds to kill a living, breathing person. In regards to the electric chair, it uses 7 amperes for 15 seconds. And it doesn't necessarily always kill the person first try. Which is why the electric chair is inhumane and should be removed from the method of execution. And these are 3 reasons as to why it should be removed. The first one being how the person dies. The second one is the effects of the execution. And the third one is that it simply is torture, masked as torture or justice. We all know that the electric chair means death for anyone who uses it, but that's not always the case. There are some people who survive the initial shock. But by knowing what happens to the individual who uses the electric chair, if we know what truly happens, we can unite and urge our Congress and legislators to pass a bill that will completely outlaw the electric chair. When a prisoner gets electrocuted, the skin that has been in contact with the electrodes, which are required to electrocute the prisoner, when they are in contact, the skin and the electrodes, it is possible to receive third-degree burns. But with those third-degree burns, it also can sear the skin into the electric chair, which it must be scraped off in order to be used again. But like I said earlier, it's possible that the victim of the electric chair can survive the initial shock. And if they do survive the initial shock, that means that they are in intense pain due to the amount of voltage and amperes running through them, and the fact that they can feel their skin being seared. How painful is it to get a third-degree burn just by simply touching a hot stove? Pretty painful. The fact is that people who survive the electric chair will be electrocuted again, which is basically torture. I'll get to that. But for the skin sticking to the chair, think of it this way. You're cooking eggs in a pan, and the pan is hot, and you leave the eggs on for a bit, and then you try to scrape them off. What's going to happen? What will happen is that the eggs will come off, but there will be some of the egg that is left on, which will have to be scraped off. Which is what happens to the human skin. If heated too long, it'll stick. Now, skin that sticks to the chair is just one effect of the electrocution. But another effect of the electrocution is that the body heats up during the electrocution after 3 cycles. And this one is pretty bad. But the eyeballs often melt during electrocution. According to Stefan Wan, a jolt of 2,450 volts lasts for 15 seconds. By then, a coroner examines the body to see if they're alive or dead. It is then repeated 3 more times, where the body is electrocuted. And then after 15 minutes, the body will have heated approximately up to 210 degrees, which may cause severe damage, which melts the eyes, possibly melts the eyes. The third point is the chair is basically just a method of torture, because the person who is executed, their wrists, their waist, and their ankles get all strapped down. And if you think how torture works, it's the exact same way. So let's take someone, for example. They have 2 cattle prods and one person is tied down. That person is electrocuted, which can cause death. It's the same way for the electric chair. The reason why the electric chair is so important for the removal of the electric chair is that it will remove the option of that execution, which is inhumane. According to Theodore Bornstein, Emory's professor of electrical and computer engineering, at least 111 years. In the last 111 years, there have been more Americans who have died, 4,322,000 people to be exact, more than any other method of electrocution, which means 4,324 people have suffered if they have not died by that initial shock. The people who are affected are those who bear witness to the executions, the executed itself, and the people who perform the executions. The aftermath of the electrocution causes the flesh of the prisoner to be seared to the chair, which needs to be scraped off. The fact is, everyone involved will have to live with the horrendous thought of what happened. While everything about the electric chair is bad, like the head bursting into flames, as another example of what the person goes through, there's a more humane way to put someone to death. Yes, if someone has killed someone, they should either be put in prison for life or put to death, but not by the electric chair. Two alternatives are the firing squad and lethal injection. Yes, there are states that do lethal injections, but we should make it so where there is enough lethal injections to where the electric chair does not have to come into question whether or not it should be used, whether or not there's a shortage of the other two. And to be honest, it should appease the people who want the prisoners to die, because they're still gonna die either way. So why not let them die in a humane way? In order to get the electric chair removed, we must inform the public about what the truth is behind the electric chair. Then offer an option for people to join our cause into removing the electric chair, in the fight to remove the electric chair. And then the third, once we have our base to fight against the electric chair, we can urge Congress and our legislative branches in all states in America, we can urge them to outlaw the electric chair. The prisoners will still die depending on what they have done, but at least they will die in a more humane way. Because lethal injection, they will die. It'll make it look like they're sleeping, but truth is they'll be dead. And the the firing squad, yeah, it can be painful, but at least you can aim to kill them quickly. The results of acting, depending on if we have enough support, will be rewarding for us, because we will have removed the electric chair, or taken steps to remove the electric chair, so no other people have to endure the pain that it causes. More people, but if we do not act, more people will die by the electric chair. I talked about the effects of the electric chair and the pain it causes, but I also want to talk about the pain. It is very painful for the people who watch. I am asking you to join me in creating a platform that will fight against this unconstitutional, or that violates the 8th Amendment, because the 8th Amendment says that there will be no cruel and unusual punishment. The fact that it's 50-50 with the electric chair, where the person who gets executed can survive initially the initial electric shock, that's torture right there, because you're putting someone in immense pain. It would be different. It would not be different if they were killed instantly, because of the effects that the body goes through. So how much does my audience know about the electric chair? Enough to know that the electric chair will kill someone. But through my speech, I have elaborated that that's not always the case. Depending on who listens and reads my speech, People who are found guilty deserve the electric chair, but there are people who view the chair as inhumane. The purpose of altering how I best achieve my purpose of removing the electric chair is by changing everyone's behavior. The people's behavior who read or hear my speech, simply because just by having a different opinion won't change anything. It has to be the behavior that changes, because through the behavior will come action, and through action will come results. What I want my audience to do is to take action and to call their congressmen and people in the legislative branch and urge them and ask them to remove the electric chair. Outlaw it, in fact, so no one has to endure the electric chair ever again. I don't believe it could. Well, I do believe it's realistic for people to do as I ask them, simply because there's enough facts and statistics and details of the gruesome events that follow the executions. My audience is most likely going to be friendly, but it depends on how you address how I address the audience and how I make them feel. People deserve to die for what they have done. It's also easy and a painless death, and why should I care? Those are 3 objections to my speech that they possibly may have. But 3 things that my audience may positively perceive are: 1, it will be humane; 2, it is compassionate; and 3, convincing. Regarding of audience perception, my 3 main reasons to why I'm asking my audience to take action against the electric chair is: 1, to preserve the 8th Amendment; 2, to prevent immense pain when they don't have to feel that pain; and 3, so it doesn't inflict torture on anyone else. My 3 best arguments can be better persuasive by showing videos and pictures of the effects and results of the electrocution. I am credible because I have gathered facts surrounding the electrocution and have read what the effects are, and it's not pretty. The tier of Maslow's hierarchy, I put down psychological, because it deals with their emotions and well-being, meaning that they're already in fear knowing that they're gonna die, but surrounding that is they possibly already know what the electric chair is going to do to them, meaning that however long it takes them to die, meaning that it could take them a few seconds to longer than like 30 seconds, because there are a few people who survive the initial shock. And I know that I don't like pain, and so I want to die immediately, not 50-50. So that's the reason I want the electric chair to be removed.